Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem Osman out of Atlanta, Georgia, but we got my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, good to have you. Good to have you. Leonard. We got to start like we always used to start, man. I got to ask you, man, what is going on in the political realm, man? What's going on these days, man? There's a lot of circulations going on, but catch us up, brother.
I think one of the things that's really catching my attention is how the issue with our Fulton County DA and Trump is playing out.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is a horrible human being
Yes, sir.
and a dangerous human being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that anything he says and does during this uh, uh, issue is held against him in the court.
Mm-hmm. And it should be.
Threatening our DA and all these types of things, any one of you would have gotten additional federal charges for this.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
This is the very reason why the man is on charges now.
Yep.
So let's hope they're double down and these people are serious about convicting this man
Mm-hmm.
of his crimes against the public.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we pray for Fannie Willis that she does not waver and she goes in to do just that.
Now,
Also,
then hold on.
go ahead.
Let's stay right there for a second. Now, is it true? I've heard talk. I don't know how true it is, but you're closer tied into the thing than I am. Has she gotten death threats?
I'm sure, yes, she has. She also, Donald Trump has taken out an ad to run
Wow,
to attack her.
wow.
These things should be seen as violations
Yes, sir.
and criminal
Absolutely,
activity.
absolutely.
You're the subject of an investigation and you're threatening and saying all these things about the district attorney.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Now, where else can you threaten the district attorney and
Uh,
don't get charged?
I'm gonna ask a question that when situations like this come across, is this question is asked a whole lot. I know the answer, you know the answer, and everybody that's listening pretty much know the answer. But I want you to speak on it for a second. Had 44 President Obama did a third of the things that Trump has done, what would be his situation right now?
Well, he wouldn't have done it because it's not in his character.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
These are people of poor character,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which means it does not matter in what area or realm that they are in, they are awful people.
Mm-hmm.
Does
Wow.
not matter where they're at, what state they in, what position they hold, they
Mm-hmm.
will be terrible people.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't what if no one
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's not so.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to what if. This is about Trump. This is about not what about somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
This is strictly about Trump
So is there
and what
anything
he
is
has done.
I'm asking, I'm going out on the limb. This not even Wednesday. Wow. But is there anything about Trump at all that you like?
Well, one thing I can say is one, I respect how he has accomplished what he has done and the tenacity he has had
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to how he's made it this far.
Mm-hmm.
He became president of the United States.
Yeah, yeah,
There's only been about 45 of those.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so just like with Clarence Thomas, can't wait till he in the ground.
Mm. Wow.
But what he has accomplished is noteworthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whether you use it for good or for bad or for whatever example you're using it for.
What are your feelings?
Whatever Trump did, he made it to the top executive office in this nation.
Yes, he did. What are your feelings towards Tim Scott?
Well, all house Negroes ain't bad.
Was that a
They just
backhanded?
ain't
Was that a
all.
backhanded compliment, brother? Was that a backhanded compliment?
Well, I'm just saying. Too many times we talk negatively about the house Negro,
Mm-hmm.
but the house Negro has played an important part in getting information to those in the field and to letting folks know what Master Nim was talking about
Mm-hmm.
and the insides on what those types of people really was thinking about us.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not always castigate the house Negro as this traitor
Villain. Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
he didn't choose to be in the house. He was chosen to be in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But let's judge him by his character.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Tim Scott is learning, but he won't rest well because of the wrong that he has done. But that's for him to be judged on the other side. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't care for him either.
Exactly. Exactly. Toussaint, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Hey, Toussaint, was
Tusa!
was that a
What's
backhanded
up?
was that a backhanded compliment, man? There was a backhanded slap, wasn't
Listen, if anybody can backhand you and make you feel good about it, Leonard can do it.
and make you feel good about
Don't
it.
do me like
You'd be like, well, thank you, sir. That was so kind of you.
So eloquently
Bloody
put.
mouth and all.
Look, so eloquently put. Thank you.
Eloquently put.
Yes, sir.
Blood streaming down from the mouth.
the gospel is for everybody, you know.
The truth is the truth, and it'll make you free.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You feel free? You're sure you do.
Yes, there you go.
Wow. Wow. But
Oh God.
what do you
What
think?
is y'all talking about?
What do you think about this Trump situation, Toussaint? What? Excuse me.
Oh man, you know what? Let me stop this beeping here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think nothing really. I'm like that to be as stupid as he can be. He's a smart guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Stupid to me. I don't care for him. But
Is he intentionally
he's done a lot.
does he intentionally stir the pot, or does that line up
Oh, yeah.
with
Oh,
what
yeah.
he want to do?
He's the type of fella. He's I can't say what I want to just start right now, just now. But he stirred the pot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He'll make you show up. He ain't gonna be there,
Yeah, exactly.
but he'll make you show up,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then he gonna bail out on you.
Wow.
Benedict Arnold. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you call it. He'll boost you up.
Yeah.
Man, he got 70. Can you imagine the type of influence it takes to get 70 million people to back you wholeheartedly,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they know you wrong?
Do they know he wrong though,
That takes faith.
or have they bought into the false narrative that he's been preaching to them?
Man, he has family meetings about how stupid he is,
Mm-hmm.
and his children have left him out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So they don't fool with it. His wife don't fool with it.
Mm-hmm.
She throw him under the bus.
Wow.
But 70 million people, he done convinced some people that couldn't afford to move to Florida.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
they some of them homeless right now.
Yeah.
With a flag on their truck.
Mm-hmm. That's sick, man.
Trump 2024.
That's a sickness, brother.
Do you see all the flags?
Yeah. Yeah.
Trump 2024.
Mm-hmm.
They got, matter of fact, they still got some of them with Trump 2020.
Mm-hmm.
They're still riding around on them. They got it on their house. In the yard, the dog got one of them. Now, what kind of influence? Influence is a powerful thing
Yes, it is.
that some people wish they had.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got some people, you and I wouldn't follow nowhere,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
wouldn't go across the street to see them.
Mm-hmm.
But you mean to tell me you got the type of influence that you tell the people, meet me at the Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
Now you ain't going because you got your Bible upside down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
They
Wow.
show up, and with the type of influence is we finna, we got a man that we gonna overthrow the government today,
Mm. Mm.
climbing walls.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the most secure buildings in the world. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with
Is
you.
that,
I'm with you.
did I say something wrong?
No, no, no. You know, you right on point. Keep going.
He has convinced people that think they're intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
and some people will see. I'm talking about CEOs, presidents, governors, senators, lawyers, doctors, people that have influence. Got on a plane or some kind of way of travel and met him in DC
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for the intentions of making America great again.
Now, hold on. Stay right there. Stay right there. And I'm gonna go to Leonard. Leonard, what is this great again narrative?
Are you referring to that "Make America Great Again"
Yeah.
slogan?
Yes, sir. What is that? What exactly does that? And and don't tell him what answer I'm about to get. But what exactly does that mean to Leonard? Make America great again.
Well, I believe it has some concept of those people who believe that lie that they were great in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not sure what they believe, what they mean. You would have to ask them
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
it's so many different narratives. Say, for instance, you got folks on this line that have a completely different concept of what was going on back then than a person like I would,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that are older than me.
Where lies the
So,
difference
what,
though?
first of
What,
all,
what
let's figure out what time they talking about.
mhm. And where
What,
lies
what
the
what
difference?
time are they talking about?
But Leonard, let me ask you this, because if we both lived during a certain period of time and we know what was going on in that period of time, how can the view be so different?
Because everybody didn't experience the same thing.
Mm-hmm. But we all
And you
experienced
know,
slavery, and we all experienced racism. With some of the narrative are the same. That was experienced though. So how can we look at that aspect of it so differently?
they're not the same. You took the people took some of the similarities and combined them together and called them the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But to me, in my point of view, nothing's ever the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have that concept, and
Okay.
that's not how I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that 10 people could have been at the same time at the same place and had 10 different things that they noticed,
Wow.
or that
Wow.
or 10 different ways that they felt, or 10 different ways on how they looked at what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when we say yes, we have things in common, but they're not the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that has a story to tell will always say, like, let's use for instance a mother whose child is murdered. Now you got mothers of the movement.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have in common? Their kids happen to be murdered in a similar way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But guess what? All of them have a different
Experience
feeling
on it. Yeah.
about that child. Every
Mm-hmm.
child was different. Every relationship was different. Every potential was different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So at some point, we have to realize that all things aren't the same. And we have to take that into consideration when we say, for instance, vote and
Mm-hmm.
choose people to govern us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or choose people or decide to join organizations and things of that nature. Some of us like the Greek organization.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us like to go on our own and go solo. Some of us pick great nonprofits to do good, but we're all trying to progress.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
those regressive people are a problem
Why so?
because these are the people still trying to maintain the status quo. These are the same people who are with white supremacy. And boy, I pray for the Negro.
Mm-hmm.
Any Negro that wished he was back where he was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. 5089.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes, sir. Hold on 1 second. 508
Okay,
924 3521. 508 924 3521. Phone lines open. Go ahead, Tucson.
okay. So here's a scenario of what I was talking about, referring to. Just an example. I'm going to use this as an example. Okay. Remember, I'm gonna use the phrase. Remember when we used to treat them rough? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Montgomery, they had a young man
Uh-huh.
at his job trying to do his job, and some people he was trying to get them to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Finally got the opportunity to do what they saw done in back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they took it upon themselves to not allow a young man of a certain ethnicity, I
Mm-hmm.
can't pronounce that word good, to not be able to tell them nothing because of who they thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to do what they used to do back in the day. A crowd of men of a certain um, group take one man and try to beat him to death.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we used to do.
Yeah.
Or that's what our papa and grandpa them used to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they thought that they was going to get the opportunity
To
to
do
do
it
it
again.
again.
Yeah. Yeah. A harsh
Like
reality.
back in the day.
A harsh reality set in though. A harsh reality really
The
set.
wake up call.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
To let you know that we live in a different day.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of foolishness that just so happens, Trump put it out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are the type of people that believe him. And they tried it.
Mm-hmm.
And they made the news.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
Because my beep are gonna go off right on time. They're gonna have some more make the news.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And Leonard, Tucson just put a very valid point out there, man, because Make America Great Again, they thought that they could do the same thing. It thought it was going to be the same result. Now, I don't condone the violence and all that stuff. People say, it's this or it's that. And it is what it is. They thought they had an opportunity and they was going to do what they wanted to do to that man, but he had some reinforcements that they didn't know about. Back in the day, it may not have gone down that way. But he had people come to his aid and the tables turned. Is it a new day, Leonard?
Yes, no. Yes and no. I mean, like I said, I can't comment on before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've watched a lot and I've read a lot of stories that wasn't as popular as some of the others of resistance. I am a studier of the resistance. I've always been about the resistance, those resisting in this way. So it's good to see. It's good to see that people are understanding. Come to the aid of your brother and your sister.
Yes.
That now I do believe that is a conversation that I think could lead down a whole nother path, though. Because I don't know why Black people were how they were before. What I do understand is that not all black people were that way, like my father and my grandfather, for instance. I do not know the story of everyone that ain't alive to tell their story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm aware of the people who lost their lives defending themselves and their families.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever reason, whatever that fear was, I've never had it. And it wasn't taught to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been taught to resist.
Yeah.
And to stand up for myself.
Let me ask you a question, because I got a clip here. I'm gonna play this clip, and we actually got a guest that's gonna come on with us. We're gonna bring them in at 8:30. And Ryan just came in, want to get him on with the conversation as well. But being here in Georgia, I'm not from Georgia originally, and neither are you, so neither one of us may know. But I'm asked the question: what is the history? What is the history of Forsyth County? From where you stand and from what you know.
Well, Forsyth County has a long, just like many states in the Confederacy, or that were established, these cities or what have you. They're known for white supremacy and enforcing Jim Crow. And not only that, but supporting all the type of heinous behaviors against black people, not just in Forsyth County, which they still don't want blacks in Forsyth County.
Wow. Still today?
Till to this day.
Thank you.
So you have to recognize, like, one, I've heard some people on this line talk about, well, there's some cities you can go to that you need to be out of there by sundown, which is them cities, because that's what we need to be. That's where exactly where we need to be, in full force, where somebody thinks that we shouldn't be there because of the color of our skin. That's how you defeat these types of things. And you have to form a government that resists and is against this type of behavior. But see, they're just now being punished for a lot of things.
Forsyth County?
And we still, we're not going to even say just Forsyth County. Georgia has a problem.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Every state in the Union that was of the former Confederacy has a problem. America has this problem. Remember, this was the opposition in the greatest domestic war we've had with one another. It's the Civil War.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Just no different than our fights against Russia, Iran, and all these other places. Except for they're right here on this soil. Dug in deep.
And some of those wars that you said with those other countries, some of those wars you said with those other countries has ended. This war, is still going on. This war on
we've been other places. We've been other places claiming we're fighting for human rights and things of that nature. Our enemies has used our behavior against us in times of war as well. Black man, why are you fighting such a war? When they don't care nothing about you where you at.
Was Muhammad Ali right in his stance?
Yes, of course he was right, but he wasn't the only voice.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the one that comes to mind.
Other people were right for other reasons as well. Even those who did fight was right for doing what they did. Let's not forget that it was those very same veterans that came back here to demand civil rights. It's because they had given up their lives to fight on behalf of America.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. We got Ryan. Ryan, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Stanley, coming to you next.
Good morning.
We asking a question, brother. I don't know if you know a lot about Georgia and Forsyth County, but they have a very dark history. There's a lot going on. As a matter of fact, I have a clip I'm gonna play in just a second about Forsyth County. What is on your heart? Do you have any knowledge on Forsyth County and how they used to operate or still operate?
No, sir. The only thing I know about Georgia is the Federal Reserve. I used to go there once a week and pick up all that money.
Okay, well that's a good stop. That's a good stop. Let me go to Stanley. 'Cause I think Stanley pretty much grew up here in Georgia. Stanley, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, man. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. Good to have you, brother. You originally from Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit because we're not really from here. We came in from other places. What is the history, as you remember it, of Forsyth County?
Well, Forsyth County was one of the racist counties in Georgia. And I remember back in I want to say the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, and over there, when Hosea Williams went up there and they did a protest and they got stoned and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But I believe, now I might be wrong, I believe since then a lot of black people have moved up to Forsyth County.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
But Georgia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas, all those places are still have pockets of racism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not every county in Georgia is racist, but there are still some counties in Georgia that are racist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't hear a lot about it like I used to.
Yeah.
But most of, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, if y'all ever riding around, I'm tell you what the racist people have done. Most of the people that really just don't want to be around black people have moved out of the cities and they're living out in the rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they work with blacks all day, to be around blacks all day. But when they get off, and one day when you die, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. They build homes back in the woods. The driveway is a mile long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They house sit back on a heap somewhere. They put a gate on there, and they just don't want to be around us. They work with us and sell to us and all that kind of stuff, but they don't want to be around us.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Forsyth County is as bad as it used to be. But it's always going to be a racist county. Like I think we talked about this the other day, because you have people that are spilling hate to their children
Yes.
and grandchildren, and that stuff is going to be generational.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll put up, which they'll work, which they'll take your money and all that kind of stuff. But in the back of their minds, we're still niggers.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell folks all the time, I was told as a young man, every county that you surrounds your county, make sure you know somebody in that county.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, you have to go through those counties to get where you're going. And some of these counties still have racist police. There's still a lot of racist state patrolmen, deputy sheriffs and all that. So you need to know somebody in every county that you travel through. So if anything happens, you have somebody that you can call. I know people in every county that connects to my county and some of the ones that connects to those counties. I know folks. When something happens, you know, you have somebody to call on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's still a lot. It's racism in Thompson. My young son was telling me some stuff that happened to them about 2 years ago. Yeah, I've never experienced it here myself. And they, you know, they didn't know who they was my sons, but you know, my son dates a young white girl. Well, one of my baby boy married a white girl, and the one next to him is dating a white girl now.
Mm-hmm.
And they had experience. They really didn't say anything out of the way to them. They just looked at them and looked at her, looked at him, and said,
Wow.
We know what that means.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So it's Georgia is always going to be like that because people are passing the generational hate down.
Wow.
And you know, that's just how it is.
Mm. And see, you would hope, a person of a good mind and a good heart would hope that in 2023, soon to be 2024, because it's August already, that we would be past, we will be past that. But it's still here, man. It's still here. And like I said, that situation that happened in Alabama is evidence that it's still here. It's evidence, man, that it is still here. Go ahead.
Well, and
Mr. Stanley is.
I don't know if y'all got the whole story behind that, but Trump was there Friday.
Yes.
This happened Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
They said this young man would try to get. He got off another boat. He was a co-captain on the boat. He got off that boat, and they said he was dealing with that for 45 minutes, trying to get them to move that boat.
That's crazy.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
You basically, if you're doing something, asking somebody something for 45 minutes, you basically begging.
You begging. Yeah.
And you're trying to be, you're begging.
Mm-hmm.
Because it shouldn't take that long to move that thing. You know,
Exactly.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's out there. In Alabama, Mississippi, and southeastern Louisiana, all that is still, it's real racist.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't see it or we don't hear about it because we don't go that way a lot. But there's a lot of racism in Georgia as well.
Yeah.
Like I told you about the situation over there in Columbus and Phoenix City with the guy. They didn't want nothing from us. I don't need no help. I don't need no help for y'all. I don't need no help for y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of them feel like that. You out here, it's 100 degrees almost. I'm trying to help you change the tire to help you get on your way.
Mm-hmm.
And you so racist, you ain't want my help because I'm black.
Wow. Just think, just let that set in for a second, man. You out there in the heat, 100 degrees.
In the heat.
Man, about to fall over. And then here comes somebody and you don't want to help. You don't want them to help you to get out that heat because of the color of their skin.
Yeah,
man.
He was adamant. I don't need no help for y'all. I don't need no help for y'all. No, I don't need it. I'm like, wow. I was just trying to help you, bro. But I don't have to be out here in the heat to sweat. I'm going back to my meeting.
See, my thing is that he didn't want he didn't want nobody in his organization to see him out there hanging out with y'all. He didn't want nobody to see that, man. That's let's be honest about this.
Somebody pass by and know him.
Yep.
And see him out there with a black man help him change the tire.
Yep. On his car. Yep.
And they gonna go back and tell somebody else, and then his organization might hurt you consorting with a nigga.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Leonard, you was about to say something. What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
And Mr. Stanley is completely, like I say, that's Mr. Stanley. He's telling you about things you didn't know about that actually happened.
Yeah.
And the history, these people, that's the thing. It's been done.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the evidence. You got Miss Cassandra on this line that goes straight down into some of these areas where I live with, the reenactment of the Morris Ford lynching.
Yeah.
I stay right down the street.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So these things have happened. Those folks ain't disappeared. Their descendants with those same attitudes are still there, and they're still teaching the same kind of hate.
Mm-hmm.
You've had people representing out in the open. Think about it. That day, I wasn't alive, where you could stand on national TV and call people niggas and wish they all was dead and come up with laws and all these things. You didn't even have to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like they was trying to keep it a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Mayors, police chiefs, sheriffs, racist, proud of the things that they have done. I think most people remember they brought the story back with Lake Lanier, which is one of the things about Forsyth County that I think people are surprised to hear.
Oscarville.
The black city the black city that's supposed to be buried under Lake Lanier.
Oscarville is the name of it. Yeah, Oscarville. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where things that these people have done, and I'm being from Michigan. Before I came here, I remember writing. I was very young, and I think we were writing something about what it is that you want to do. And at that age, as a young man, I wrote, I want to move to the South and destroy the leadership of the Confederate government in Georgia.
Wow.
Because of what I had heard about what had been done. As a little boy, I was in the Reconstruction and reading and learning about these things. Okay, let's see how we was going to make it right. Well, damn, Jim Crow ain't helped us not one bit. But the government allowed it.
Yes. Yes, Lord.
So we have to understand that the fight ain't over. It never ended. And you can't sit back and wait for other people to change to do it. You have to have some change agents in the mix. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And you have to make it happen. Much respect to those folks that have made it so long here. I've been here about 28 years or so. I've been an activist since I've been here pretty much. and being
Mhm.
involved with different things. I've met great people, even through your organization,
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
district attorneys and things like that. See, we
Mhm.
engage the seats of power.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always trying to recruit people for this fight. Don't just sit by. If you at your job and you see it, go after it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sit back. Well, they ain't messing with me. They ain't. I don't need to get. Yes, you do need to be involved.
And that's the part that the
Because
man,
you
Leonard,
black
Leonard,
uniform, you can be their enemy.
Leonard, that's the part right there, man. That kills me, man. Hey, they ain't doing nothing to me. They ain't doing nothing. What do they have to do something to you for you to make a difference? For you to stand up?
Thank
It
you.
got to be something. They got to do
Thank
something
you.
to you for you. Come on, man. That kills me, man. Why does it have to? So if it don't knock on your door, you ain't care. You don't care about nobody else's door.
Do not teach your children to fear
Mm-hmm.
white
Mhm.
folks.
Exactly.
That's the worst thing in the world to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because then they will think that they have to respect these people because they're white.
Mm-hmm. Come on. Mm-hmm.
They're just as horrible as the devil himself.
Absolutely. Let me say, cause I see
you are never respected.
Absolutely, cuz I see you watching over there. I see you watching. Love you too, cuz. Love you too. Tucson, you had something on your heart, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up something Linda talking in this conversation about something he said the other day when we talked. The house Negro that had some children, and their children's children had some children, and they walking around here. That type of mentality. That's just my thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's why some people act like our house burned down,
Mm-hmm.
and they talking about
Mm.
what's master sick?
Mm.
Really?
Yeah.
So anyway, I
we-
just wanted to put
Hey,
that on the table.
Hey, you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up just a little bit.
I know. I'm in the wind.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm in the wind. That's why. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
No, you can say, you can definitely say something else, brother. Let me go to Ryan. Ryan, what's on your heart?
Dust in the wind. Oh man. Yeah, I see. I'm around today. I don't know much about the topic. I know about what y'all just said, and I'm in the same boat. If I see something, I say something.
Yes.
I think what it is a lot of people, like you said, does somebody got to do something to you before you do or say something? I think the common response to that would be yeah. Simply
Mhm.
because if they say something, they feel like something's gonna get done to them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They're putting their livelihood at risk, and people don't want to do that, and that kind of perpetuates the cycle. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to just sit back and listen and get educated today a little bit, and if I got something to say, I'll chime in.
Yes, sir. Let me go to Stanley. Stanley, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Stanley, people a lot of time, who is and if you haven't studied on this, I understand because a lot of people have not. But who is and who was Uncle Tom?
Well, let me tell you something about Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom, people say what they want to say about Tom, but Tom did what he had to do to help other people be free.
Yes.
And they call people Uncle Tom like he was just somebody that bowed down to the masters and y'all was balls, y'all. But he was doing what he had to do at the time to help other folks gain their freedom. So, so when people call people Uncle Tom, they really don't understand what they're saying. They just go by what they heard.
Exactly.
A lot of people have a lot of people have sacrificed so that we can live the life we're living now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's our responsibility to, as they say, train up a child in the way he should go, and that way revert back to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's our responsibility to make the next generations smarter and stronger and wiser than we were. Every generation is supposed to get stronger and smarter.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them don't, because some people really don't know how to pass on wisdom or pass on things that they learn. So they're just teaching what they know right now. But you know, it's our job to make the next generation stronger. And see, the same way we're trying to make our kids and grandkids and great grandkids, we're trying to provide a better life for them, show them what to do, how to do it, how to have something, how to invest, how to make money, how to own property and grow their own fruits and vegetables, all that stuff. The same way we're instilling that wisdom and knowledge to them, you still have racists who are instilling racist values in their children.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so it's crazy, because that's why this thing is living so long. And people don't understand, if we all just try to get along, work together, and improve things, the world would be a better place.
Yes.
But if you got put on the left, you know, pushing love and understanding and collaboration and cooperation and teamwork and how to build something positive, but then you got people on the right saying, no, niggas need to be where they were 100 years ago. We're gonna make America great again, and we're gonna push it back pre-civil rights era, keep them down in their place, because they never thought, when they wrote the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they never thought that black people would be anything other than slaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
They never thought of us being president of the United States, governors of states, senators, state representatives, congressmen, judges, police chiefs, sheriffs, any of that stuff. They always thought that we would be beneath them. This country was built to be run by old white men.
Wow.
That's why you have to be, 45 to even run for president?
Yes.
They never thought black people would run for president. They wanted old white men to run this country forever. And once that has not happened, the only way they can try to control things, they have to keep that generational hatred going. There's some people that really just hate black people. I walk by people, man, they'll rather look at the ground when you walking towards them.
Yeah.
They rather look at the ground than look at you and say good morning.
Yeah. I've seen that too.
Yeah. There's an old white man in Talbot County. I remember this story my pastor told this. He was from Talbot County, over in Talbot, about 15 miles from here. He said it was an old white man over in Talbot. Everybody knew he was racist. He didn't try to hide that. But if he met you on the street, he would say good morning or good afternoon or good evening. So one of his white partners asked him one day, said, why do you speak to these black people and we know that we don't like them? He said, everybody deserves courtesy of a good morning or good afternoon or good evening.
Wow.
He spoke to black people even though he didn't like black people. But he said, everybody, that's God right there. He said, everybody deserves that. That belongs to God.
Wow.
Common courtesy. So
even in his hate, ain't that something?
Even in his hate, he said that belongs to God. And he spoke good morning, good afternoon, good evening. But he did not like black. He wouldn't deal with black folks, but he gave them the courtesy of that greeting.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Oh, hey, all praises to the God. I'm doing well.
Good deal. Good deal.
So,
Good.
What's going on?
Well, I'm gonna ask you. We talking about a certain thing, but I'm gonna ask you a question along the same lines. But I know you're not originally from Georgia, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back 500 years. I was born and raised in Atlanta, 1951. Yes, sir.
Tell me about because you're of a certain age, and so you probably would know about this a lot more than myself would, because I'm not is seasoned. How about that? Are there still what they
Yeah.
call sundown towns in the state of Georgia?
Sort of, yeah. Yes, they are. In Atlanta, there's some areas that you after dark, we see it all the time. We see these Karens and these cabins asking people what the hell they doing in their neighborhood, their town, who live there. They're probably more wealthy than the people there. Yeah, and see, I tell you, Atlanta, everybody view Georgia now by looking at Atlanta. But if you live down around Savannah, outside of Macon, around Macon, Albany, Cordele, Brunswick, Savannah, Valdosta, Camilla, racism and the old-fashioned way of doing things is alive and well.
Wow.
And then when you raise your kids, I heard Leonard, Dr. Leonard speak, and I heard the last one, Stan, I think it was.
Yes.
Stan made sense to me because he know what the South is like. He's born and raised down here. At Montgomery, places like that, and what we saw was people's frustration. And Uncle Tom, I don't know what Uncle Tom is because it's so mixed up now because young people say a man got a good job, taking care of his family, a woman got a good job, taking care of family, doing something for a community, or just surviving so kids can live or go to school or whatever, and live the next day. They call him Uncle Tom. And why are you doing that? Why you working a white man's job? Well, you got a job for me? Now, when I was young, black people had jobs for you. You know what I mean? Work, real work.
Yeah.
It's a brickyard in Atlanta now, started by black people, and make a lot of money. I worked for them. It was a hard job. I worked for them about 1 week. I said, I didn't go back to get my check. It was so hard.
Good Lord.
But
I owe you money. I owe you money. Don't worry about it. I owe you money.
I tell you what, now, if you want to know how I think it is, I worked in tobacco field when I was about 17, 18. I went down up to SCLC, and I was stranded. An old black lady took me into a place and told me a man had a job for me. I want to get some money for bus fare. It's a true story. And she said, early in the morning, man came daylight, called somebody, took me down to the tobacco field. They picked me up a truck, some black people, took me down to the tobacco field. So all I do is clock them bottle rolls of tobacco. I got down there, I was, fresh and everything. I looked down, I couldn't see the end of that field. I got the cropping out the tobacco, the heat come up, the humidity came up, and tobacco juice get on your skin and sticks to your skin. And then the dripping and the dust and the dirt had freaks on me. And I hand the stuff up give her stuff up to a lady, and she take me, bind them up, and got take to the bone. Now, I'm telling you, that stopped me smoking for a lot of years, right? Because I look up and we all dust and dirt. Here, a white man on top of the tractor, on the platform, watching the people build it back and get it back to his barn, right? In a white suit, with a white hat on, all that dust and dirt, and they have a speck of dirt on. And that's the only time I looked up and all that heat and humidity and degradation and wonder how in the hell I want to go on white. That's the only time I first and last, right? And then, to get an hour break, and then I ain't finished yet. And then at the end of the day, you know what you got? $5. Dusty dog, $5. $5. And that was good money, right? And you know what the black men, women, people did? And they got their $5 when it got cool at night, they went to work with some kids going putting saplings into dirt. Saplings in dirt to make extra money. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Now that's the kind, but the attitude was, why y'all do that for the white man? But the thing was, they did it for their family. They raised their children up. They children all up here in the city, don't want no land, don't want nothing, don't want to do nothing, don't want that cotton down there, want to pick that cotton or grow that cotton and sell. It was black farms that cotton all the way back to Booker T. Washington. He spoke in Atlanta about the black cotton farm. And you know what? We look at people like that as being ignorant Negro and loving white folks. They said integration, and what hurts me when I hear people say integration, because we want to sit next to white folks and everything. And yet they ride on buses, they take planes, they ride everywhere, they do everything. They got phones, they go where they want to go, they go on vacation, and they say all we wanted to do is sit next to white folks. I've seen people die and get beat to death on that. Right?
Wow.
I've seen that. Right? And then here in Georgia, it was rough. And at the same time, you're enjoying all these benefits, you want to hold your nose up. I did this by myself. Ain't nobody ever did that for me. And the very reason you can say that is because people died, and some black woman or some black man had you and gave you a life. Even having a child, you understand, having children back in those days, that was an act of revolution. You understand when you have a child, you talking about everything you want to put on me. You talking about slave. I'm talking about my lifetime. As
Wrap
harsh
it
as
up, brother.
a black woman have a child, love a man, right? And get a child, feed their child, put a roof on their head. All they could do for their children is see them make it to another day, so they can make it to another day. And these people, and now people want to sit back and look at them. I'm superior to them. You're there because they existed. You exist because of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to look back and talk how they survived. Right.
Mm-hmm. Wow, good. That's a lot, man. It's a lot of layers. What we're talking about right now. It's a lot of layers to this thing. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning? Cassandra, you there? Tucson, talk to me, brother. Cassandra may be away from the line for a second. Tucson, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was trying to get that mute button.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember when it was coming up. I don't know where Daddy found those farms that with them bean patches. I'm saying to myself, I don't want to pick no potatoes. But we had for real. I'm looking, I'm saying to myself, I can't even see that far. They said, well, go to the end and make your way back.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be up there early in the morning. We may get a sandwich and some water and honey butter and maybe some. I hated that. What's that milk called? Some buttermilk. Buttermilk.
Some buttermilk.
And then at the end of the day, yeah. And at the end of the day, you know, we thinking, oh God, it's gonna make me some money for all this. Yeah. And they give you $5 and you had to help with the family.
Mm.
That now I'm not even 60 yet. I'm 59. But my sisters, I got a sister that's I think she's almost 7. She should be about 75 now. So there's I'm the last of 12. Same parents they had.
Mm-hmm.
And we would live across the street from the school during segregation that other people were protesting trying to get there. We was already going. We was already fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And so but there were some people that would say, man, you don't talk to them people like that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's so many things that we had to, because I grew up in a little town, called Opelousas.
Mm-hmm.
But they had the great Opelousas massacre,
Mm-hmm.
where they just decided that they were just gonna kill a bunch of them. Same time I grew up in, and so that mentality was there, and it's just crazy when you live. And now I live in Mississippi. They show now we talk about Mississippi to some people that stay up north. They say, I got to go. I ain't going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but they heard about Mississippi. It's true. As a matter of fact, I'm walking now. I'm looking at some. I heard the conversation this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying to myself, ain't nothing changed but clothes.
Wow.
And I'll just do that right there.
And say ain't nothing changed but the clothes. Wow. That's a lot there. Stanley, talk to me, brother. Stanley, you there? Leonard, take it.
I think, I'm glad folks like my man Tucson can tell you. He ain't making nothing up.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling you actually what it was like. So for people to deny this, that, or the other, to me, is ridiculous. And so that's why we're having such a struggle now with trying to make changes. Because those same people that perpetrated that type of behavior, they're still here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're still, I used to tell people, you know why certain people don't go nowhere, don't travel, and stay where they at?
Why?
It's because that's where they are known.
Familiar. Mm-hmm.
See, you got folks who have histories of murdering, killing, and raping Black people that still live in these places. And they stay in them places because they won't face prosecution. You can go to some towns right now and folks can do whatever they want to because their mother, their father may very well likely be the judge. The streets in that town are named after those people who brought such terror on Black folks. The reason why Forsyth County, which you mentioned before, is so well known is because of the death of racism and death and those things that were suffered there.
Mm-hmm.
And these stories that folks tell, like Tucson's fairly young. But you let somebody 70 tell you about what it was like to live in these places. My father, even up north, saved the white man from dying by resuscitating him.
Mm-hmm.
He come to and wish he was dead once he found out that a Black man had put his mouth on him.
Wow. Wow.
So we have to understand.
Leonard, say that part one more time, and I want people to understand the level of hate, the level of hate that have to be tied into that. He didn't even want to live, knowing that a Black man had.
No, he would rather have died.
Yes. Yes.
And when he found out that my daddy, a Black man, revived him.
Wow.
My daddy left the South because of a lot of the racism there.
Mm-hmm.
And when white folks tried to attack him. This wasn't 100 years ago. Even to this day, we still doing the work that I do, can get cases of where Black folks can go into some stores in certain areas, like up in them northern counties of Georgia, and the white folks won't even wait on them.
Mm-hmm.
They still spray painting the derogatory words and things on their property.
Mm-hmm.
Folks that where if you go try to look at a house in a certain neighborhood, you got folks following you.
Wow.
That's today. That's not 100 years ago. Folks that commit crimes right here still to this day are let off by these judicial systems when the perpetrator is white and the victim is Black.
Much like what would have happened had they not had that video of Ahmaud.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Had they not had that video.
Exactly. And so we have to understand that when we sit back and we don't participate in elections, you could be still allowing the Klan to be a district attorney.
Mm-hmm.
A Klan member still being a judge.
Yes, sir.
A Klan member still being the principal of your school.
And what kind of justice do you think you're going to get in that instance? What kind of justice are you going to get?
Exactly.
Stay right there, Leonard. We got a couple. As a matter of fact, we have our guest on that's going to be with us. She's in the green room. We're going to bring her in just a minute. But I want to go to Cassandra right now. Cassandra, we're talking right now about a lot of different things. One of the things we're talking about is the history of Forsyth County, Georgia. What do you know about Forsyth County? And good morning. How you doing
Yeah,
this morning?
yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Well, it's like many of the places in my hometown, Charleston, South Carolina, around the counties in Charleston. And can I just share something that happened to me yesterday?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
Please? I was in Newnan. I went to pick up some stuff. You know, I do the decor. I went to pick up some stuff in a Newnan area, and I was passing through, and I had to go into this little store, little country store. I needed some gas. There wasn't nothing really around but that little store. So I went in the store. I had on, my big earrings, and just doing me. And I walked in the store, and it wasn't no black people in there. There was a young white guy that I walked in, and he turned around, and immediately I could feel it. Almost was like a hatred for me. And I mean, if looks could kill,
Mm-hmm.
this kid probably would have killed me right there on the spot. I'm telling you, it's so strange that we're talking about this. And I felt, really sort of uncomfortable. And I was like, dang. And I went to the ATM, and he kept watching me, giving me this, like N-word, why you in here type of look. And the ATM, something, it wouldn't take my card or something. I asked the lady, I said, ma'am, is the machine working? She said, no, I got to put a sign, it's out of order. And so I started walking toward the door, and this kid like sort of walked out behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what in the world is going on? And I mean, when I tell you, I knew it was hatred for me or a total dislike for me. I was like, this. But I'm telling you, Georgia, just like South Carolina, I was born and raised in South Carolina. South Carolina to me is one of the most oppressed, right with Mississippi and a few of the others, Alabama, Georgia, one of the most oppressed places in this country
Wow.
to live. And all people can think about with my hometown as, oh, it's so pretty. Oh, the history. Yeah, slavery, the first shots of the Civil War was shot right off of Fort Sumter, like a mile from where I grew up, because I grew up right downtown Charleston at the waterfront area almost. So it hurts me even to think like that when it comes to Georgia, but it's real in the South for real. I know it's some places up north as well, but in the South, that mentality of hatred toward Black people is still alive and well. And I'm going to wait till you come back around if you stay on this subject, and I wanted to share something else, but it's alive and well. That's all I have to say. And it hurts me to think like that because I grew up in the South.
Exactly. And truth of the matter is here. Is here. You hate to think that in this day and time, you hate to think that it's really still here and that it's as rapid as it is. But reality, if you turn a blind eye, it could very well kill you. If you turn a blind eye, it could very well kill you. Prime example again, the situation that happened in Alabama just a few days ago. Had nobody came to that man's, had nobody come to his rescue, had nobody come to his aid, they could have very well killed that man, beat him to death.
Killed him,
and left
kicking him and punching him.
Either left him laying right there or kicked his body in the water. Had nobody come to his aid. That could very well have been a reality. We got our guest on right there. We got Curtis on with us as well. Curtis, I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna introduce the guest, get her in, and we're gonna talk about some things that I know lines up with this right here, and is very near and dear to everyone's heart. So I'm gonna give her an opportunity, bring her in, give her an opportunity to say good morning. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Hey, doing well, doing well. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about your name and a little bit about yourself, and we're gonna get into this conversation. And I'm so excited that you joined us this morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It's quite early, but I made sure I was here for you. I'm
Thank
Tamara Johnson Shealy. I am the lead advocate for House Bill 89 right here in the great state of Georgia. And House Bill 89 is reparations. If you see it on my t-shirt, reparations for those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. House Bill 89 is a study commission. It mirrors the work that has been done in California. It's the same legislation that created a commission that California, where they were able to study reparations potential policies for the last 2 years. So it creates a commission for those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery to have a commission right here in the great state of Georgia.
Good deal, good deal. Let me and we have quite a few people. The family is here, so we're gonna open up for them to ask you questions as well as we go, if that's okay with you.
Oh, absolutely.
In the beginning, let's do some education in the beginning, just in case somebody has been laying up on the rock or sleeping on the rock and don't know. What is reparations?
What reparations is the repair. It is the repair of the harm that has been done to us generation after generation, systemic injustice after systemic injustice that started with slavery, Jim Crow, black codes, convict leasing, no New Deal, no GI Bill, redlining, war on drugs, mass incarceration, systemic injustice after systemic injustice that's been done to those of us who were chattel. Chattel means we were actual property. We were passed down generation to generation as if we were a piece of furniture, no regard for our lives. We built the wealth that this nation has. America built its wealth. We were more valuable than all the assets, our bodies, our black bodies, our free labor, 246 years of free labor. This is a debt. So when America says, they don't owe us, oh, absolutely you do. This is a debt that is owed to generations of people that have never been repaired. So that is reparations.
Okay. Why and this is I'm asking a question, I know the answer to a lot of the questions that I'm going to ask you, but bear with me for a second. Why reparations and why today?
Oh my gosh, reparations is past due. It's past due. If you look at the data shows that by 2053, Black America will have zero net wealth. And they say, well, many of you have made it. Look at the Oprahs, look at the Tyler Perrys. When you take and aggregate these numbers and you say, okay, these millions and billions that these people have versus what we don't have over here, when you bring these numbers together, the data shows that by 2053, that we will be at zero net wealth, zero. So wow. This is a plight, and we're on a race to the bottom. And this was data, this information was pre-COVID. COVID has sped all of that up. So we have an urgent cry now for reparations.
Mm-hmm. Do they owe us?
Absolutely. They absolutely, the American government owes us. So for us to have a bill here in Georgia, because they sanctioned all of this, like this was under under this country's, this was policy all around the nation. But here in Georgia and what they've done in California, it forces the federal government. It's like, this is the groundswell. This is what we have to do as activists, as advocates. We have to force the federal government to do what they're supposed to do. These are policy recommendations on a state level, what California has done, what we're trying to do here in Georgia. This is policy recommendations on a state level, but ultimately, this is the responsibility of the federal government. So absolutely, they owe us.
Okay. Now, a lot of people have a misconception or they view this thing differently. You're saying that the government owes us. See, a lot of people that don't look like us will say that I don't owe you. We don't owe you. We don't, and they get those lines blurred a little bit. You're not saying that the people owe us. You're saying that the government owe us for what has happened in terrible situations that we was placed in during that time.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Hands down, you nailed it. And that's not an argument. Japanese got reparations when their plight, Germans, Jews, like there's been reparations. So this is Native Americans, they have their reservations. So it's like Black America, we've never, that 40 acres and a mule, we never got what was promised, quote unquote, to us.
Mhm.
So this is a debt that is old. And what you see in today with that brawl, I think you were talking about that a bit earlier.
Yes.
What we saw with that brawl is that there's a generation of us, this stuff is bubbling over. This stuff is bubbling over, and there's these hashtags, we are not our ancestors. Many of us aren't going to just sit back and it was obvious. Those people that came out to help that man on that pier, we're not going to just sit back and not come back. we just not built like that.
Exactly. I'm trying to understand and please correct me if I'm wrong, I could be off on this, but the slave owners got a certain reparations for
when they freed the slaves, they actually got reparations. So they were compensated for the harm, for losing their property, and we were their property. And they set us free. Okay, Reconstruction happens, and even look what happened during Reconstruction. You bomb us, you terrorize us, you destroy our communities. We were still never able to build well.
And I'm trying to understand, and sister, you probably can help get this a little clearer for me. How could the person that victimized us get reparations, but the victims get nothing? How does that work?
It worked. Obviously, they did it in our faces, right? In our faces. This is the country. This is America. They've done it.
So where are we, and what do we need to do? And I'm open up, I know everybody have questions for you, so I'm gonna open up and let them ask questions as well. But what do we need to do at this point? How close are we, or are we miles or cities away from this reparation?
No. One thing I can say about this generation of us, we're tech savvy, we're headstrong. This generation of us, we use technology to our advantage. Look at where the internet is, how fast information is disseminated. Like, we're in an age where this won't take, it took from 1865 to the 1960s, it took 100 years for us to get civil rights, right? For us to have the right to vote. We're in this time now where things are moving a lot faster, and we're pushing a whole lot harder. And this is happening, and this is now. We have HR 40, which was introduced by John Conyers in the late 80s, that still exists in the House, which is the reparations initiative on a federal level. That has been introduced every year, and it's still there. And we have S40 over in the Senate, introduced, and we have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing and demanding that our legislators pass this type of legislation.
Exactly. Now, I think I heard you say that you're in partnership. The whole organization is in a partnership with California. How does that work?
Oh yeah, we're activists. We're not. Again, there's the power of the internet. There's the power of social media. We're activists. We're connected. We fight online. Most of us are very, we have a presence on social media. And we're very much connected. We've come together over the years. I've been actively doing this now for, I think I'm going into 4 or 5 years here in the state of Georgia, and being amongst the other activists around the country. So yeah, we're mighty and we're powerful.
Good deal. Now, in regards to reparations, what should we look for? Is it a monetary thing that we should look for? Is it land that we should look for? What exactly what are the rewards that we should look for as a result of getting these reparations?
We are owed everything. It is monetary. They're gonna have to cut the check, but then you have to think about even the psychological damage that's been done to us as a people. Like, I always say this, and I say it, I try to be as respectful, but we are not well. Like, we as a people, we're not well. Our families are broken, and that brokenness and that trauma, all of that is in our DNA. And it has shown up generation after generation in all of our families. And no family is perfect across the board, but there's some damage. There is damage that has been done to us that we have to repair. There's land, the tangibles, there's land, there's resources that we're owed, education. There's a myriad of ways that this has to be addressed. There is no magic bullet to this. It's all of it. It's all of it. And we have to be addressed holistically. You broke generations of people. You
Mhm.
broke us generations after generation. So you're going to have to repair us. And that reparations, you know, when people talk about like, you know, how are we going to get it? And if, you know, who's going to get this big check? You know, that's really like not what we're asking for. This is
Mhm.
generations of work that will need to happen. Like I need to be repaired, my children, my children's children. Like, again, this trauma is in our DNA. So this
Yes.
is something that, you know, we can look at, because the federal government always wants to say, well, you know, who's going to write this big check? We're already in debt. You know, they always want to make these arguments about where the money's going to come from, quote
Mhm.
unquote, right? We understand that, you know, they could cut this check, but we can get this in increments, generations after generations, but the work has to be done now, and the checks have to be cut, and the repair needs to happen.
How often do they send a rocket ship to the moon, and how much does that cost?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just thinking out loud, because it's crazy for them to say that they don't have the money when they certain things that they want to do, they do. So obviously this is something that they don't have an interest in doing, and so to this point they have not done it. Let me open up for a few people. We're gonna go in this order first, and we're gonna circle back around to everybody. Cassandra, Leonard, Kurt, and Stan. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Do you have a question?
Uh, no, but I applaud this young lady in what she's doing. All of us have a part to play, and activism, of course, you know, has always been my thing. So, you know, kudos to you and the people that you are working with, and anything that you can tell us. Well, I can only speak for me. You tell me that I can do to help your cause. I'll be happy to do it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, ma'am. So we have a website. Our initiative here in Georgia, this is the Bible Belt. I grew up in the church. I love God. So my initiative and what we've done here in Georgia is we've come up with Reparations Sunday. So it's on the website. Information is there, reparationssunday.com or .info. It all leads back to our Reparations Sunday. With that, we are intentional about engaging the churches in our fight for reparations, believers around this fight. Back in the 60s, that, you know, the church undergirded the movement, the civil rights movement. They were the cornerstone. And we're asking that the church here in the South do the same thing, step up, be a part of helping us bridge this gap between those of us who are activists in this activism with the Bible. Bring us all together and let God move us in one accord. So we're trying to really bring the churches into our movement with reparations. So again, the website is reparationssunday.info or .com.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at TikTok here. You know, we were actually broadcasting on TikTok as well. And somebody asked that very question. Where does the government get the money and land? Where do they get the money and land? Wow. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I'm definitely familiar with
Talking to your phone, Leonard. You're a little bit low, brother. You're a little bit low.
Okay, I'm definitely aware of Miss Shealy and their efforts. I also posted that bill on your Facebook site,
okay,
so you can share it with other people so they know what it is that she is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of the efforts that we mention on a regular basis as it relates to what reparations is and what it should look like. And that's what this commission is for. Georgia Equity, I can't remember the big name, Georgia Equity and Fairness Commission Act.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully this commission comes out with some things that you can definitely move forward on immediately, as opposed to waiting another 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
Also efforts in the city of South Fulton, where money was set aside for a commission there also in that particular city to look at, you know, reparations and what it should look like. And like you said, this ain't something that is about cutting the check.
Yes.
This is about repairing all those things that were done and upheld by the federal government to make life completely hell for African Americans and descendants of those descendants of slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were just mentioning before she came on the line, Jim Crow is not just something in certain cities. No, this was a form of legal oppression as well. After a war that had been fought, the South was still allowed to do these types of things to African Americans. So those people talking about where the money gonna come from and all this, it's gonna come where it's been coming from. It's gonna come from all the other money come from. What do you think? And this is the thing about it. Everybody wants to stand there when someone's trying to give them something. That same bank loan that a white person used to get, a black person couldn't get. That same house that a white person was allowed to buy, a black person couldn't purchase it. Jobs, all these types of things that were under discrimination. That's what discrimination is. They prevented black folks as much as possible from the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. Not just at the polls, but right in their very cities, in their schools, public transportation, public housing, you name it. So we have to be very clear what it's about.
Yes.
And these people are talking about, well, where it's going to come from, where your mama stuff come from, where your daddy stuff came from. That's where it's going to come from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's keep this thing going. Kurt, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Morning, bro. What's going on?
Hey, we talking about reparations, brother. What's on your heart? You have a question for the young lady?
I have a question and a statement.
Okay.
My question is, when you all started gathering your information, how much time, if at all any, because I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all were so on it that y'all had several different academic opportunities to pick and pull from several different sources. But my question is, how much time, if any, did you all spend looking at the Kerner report, specifically from the ideology of intergenerational wealth? Because that's a large part of, in my mind, the explanation of just how far we've been set back. I was curious as to if at all, if you all looked at the Kerner report.
Well, we follow. I haven't looked at that, brother. I haven't looked at that, and I'd like to get more information about it. We follow the work of Dr. William Sandy Darity. He is an economist out of Duke University. This is his life's work. He's been doing this work for well over 30 years. His book is called From Here to Equality, and that has been our guide with the reparations movement thus far. But if you have some additional information, I'd definitely love to take a look at it.
Kurt?
Yeah, during the civil rights movement, I want to say Lyndon Baines Johnson, he commissioned five people, one of which was the governor of Illinois. His last name was Kerner. That's why it's called the Kerner report, to take a look at racism in America and what could be done and how to stop it, I guess. And so there's some jewels in there you might want to look at. You can pull it up on any social media platform. The other thing I wanted to say, Raheem, was when you were talking about those slave owners that were being paid, I want to say, Leonard, help me out here, because we've talked about it before. I want to say the compromise of 1873, either the compromise of 1873 or the compromise of 1877, that specifically 18 what?
1866, it was Johnson, like the president, after President Lincoln was killed. That's why he started getting reparations. He rescinded the 40 acres and 2 mules. People in Savannah and parts of Georgia had received that in different places, but Johnson rescinded that after the death of Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, so that's 67. So that whole compromise right there explains exactly how the slave owners were paid. And the sister was so on point when she said, oh, yeah, they were paid for property loss. all property laws. And it extends as far as, you know, a lot of times we think slavery and everything of slavery just happened in the South.
Wrap it up for me, Kurt.
But there's empirical data that shows that it was propped up by Wall Street, by the insurance companies on Wall Street, by banks that was connected to Wall Street. So, you know, reparations is what it is. It's something that our forefathers earned.
Exactly. Stay right there, Kurt.
People don't do it.
Okay, stay right there, Kurt. We got to keep this thing moving, man. Let me go to Stan. Stan, good morning. So again, what's on your heart? You have a question? Stan, you there?
Yeah, man, I was doing something else. Yeah, I enjoyed meeting her yesterday, and I'm going to try to get involved with what she's got going on for the reparations and get her introduced to some other folks that we know inside of the churches throughout the state of Georgia. So she has my support, and anything I can do, all she got to do is reach out to me.
Absolutely. And likewise. We're gonna keep this
Thank
thing
you,
going.
Stan. I sure will.
Good deal. Ryan, what's on your heart? Ryan, what's on your heart, brother?
Like I said, brother, today is a learning opportunity for me. But just like I kind of said in chat, Wall Street got all kinds of money, right? I think Stan Mike's still open. There it is. Nope.
Yeah, go ahead. I got you. Go ahead.
All right. Wall Street got a lot of money. I mean, we see that every day just watching the TV. And people who ask where the money gonna come from, go ahead, take it out of Wall Street. There's this literature out there that shows not only did Wall Street prop up some of, you know, the slavery, paying off some of those slave owners, but they also propped up Adolf Hitler. There's a paper trail that shows that Wall Street helped to fund that. So look like Wall Street got a lot of money to toss around at evil doing. Sound like they need to throw something at something good.
Exactly. That's good. Sis, I'm gonna come back to you one more time. Well, I'm coming back to you several times, but I want you to reintroduce yourself to there's a lot of people just joined in. So introduce yourself, tell them exactly what you're doing, and we can continue the conversation.
All right. Good morning, and thank you again for having me on your broadcast. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. I am the lead organizer for House Bill 89. House Bill 89 here in Georgia is a bill that will address the impact of slavery and Jim Crow on those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. It will create a commission that mirrors the work of California. California studied for the last 2 years the impact of slavery on Black Californians. So we're looking to do the same thing right here in the great state of Georgia. We know this is the cradle of the South. We are rooted here, those of us who are descendants. So this is our opportunity to address the impact of what these systemic injustices have done to us. This is literally our time. Our work mirrors, again, California. You know, the job ultimately of reparations is the federal government. It has to happen in Congress. There is Senate Bill 40 over in the U.S. Senate, and there is House Bill 40, HR 40, in the House of Representatives. So our work is massive. But the more we can do on a state level, on the ground, this is where we force the hand of the federal government. This is where we literally make them do what's right. So we have to have initiatives like this. Again, California has done it. New York is on the heels of it. We're on the heels of it right here in the great state of Georgia. And it is our time. It is truly our time. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate you being here with us, and we're gonna keep this thing going. We got quite a few other people that's on the line that certainly want to ask you questions. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and good morning to the Morning Gold family, and most surely God morning to our sister.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Any questions or concern? Are we talking about reparations?
No, I'm like my man Ryan. I'm in a very educational stage right now. I'm very excited what she said, and to know there's such a bill that's being put before Congress. I know there's many great black congressional members that have been pushing for certain bills. I know the great late John Conyers was the dean who has been pushing for reparation. I'm just excited. The question, there's no question, is I'm all ears. Thank you, sister, for your great commitment and contribution to keep the ball rolling. We all know that America has to pay her debt, whether she pay it today. To this generation, we all are descendants. Every one of us is descendants of slaves. But there's no question that we can't stop and make America be the only one to pay reparation. We have to go across the water and make our brothers and sisters over in the diaspora also contribute to reparation, because they played a role too. We don't like to talk about it, but it's real. They did play a role into sending some of us into slavery. And I think that those countries that played a role has a role to play pay reparation to us as well. I think we deal with America first, but we're not going to let our brothers and sisters in the diaspora also, who helped to send us and sell us into slavery. That is a true history. When white people always like to say, well, your own people sold you, they're not lying. They're not lying. It's the truth. But we most certainly would have to deal with that. And I don't want to let our people in the diaspora think that they have no responsibility. We should, as a people, be given dual citizenship. When I traveled to Africa several times, we received, I didn't receive, but Minister Farrakhan received dual citizenship in some of those countries. But I think we all should be receiving dual citizenship, those of us who are descendants of slaves. So, sister, keep doing the great work that you're doing. I'm excited. I'm very excited. And I pray that Allah will bless you and us to be able to let America know, as we kind of knew just the other day, black folks, they just want to get something. They just want to get a little justice. But keep doing the great work. That's all I got. I'm sorry for taking so long, Brother Wright.
Good deal. Good deal. Let me go to Toya.
You mind if I address him before we move to the next question?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times when we have these conversations, and brother, I absolutely agree with you and thank you. All of us are committed to the fight here in Georgia and nationally. But I just kind of want to speak to a couple things that you said that, we're definitely not going to let those off the hook outside of, America. We're clear what the history is. But here's where, when we have these conversations about reparations, particularly with white Americans, they try to take us down the rabbit hole. I was in I do a lot of talking on the Clubhouse app. If you've never heard of it, it's a great app to have these kind of conversations, or any kind of conversation. But they try to take you down this rabbit hole with, pointing the finger at the fact that we were sold into slavery by our own. Like, they want to divert or just kind of take our attention off the fact that they owe us here in this country. So here's something I want to share with you in that regard. We have to be very intentional, because here in America, not all Black people are owed reparations. And I'm saying that because we got to be very clear about who is owed reparations. Prior to the civil rights movement, Black people were to the right of the decimal point. There was immigration. The Black people that immigrated from a lot of these from Jamaica, just anywhere all over the world, they came after the civil rights movement. They weren't here in the numbers that they are here today. So when we talk about who is owed reparations, because there's a lot of fighting right now about with how this reparations movement is happening. There's a lot of people, and I say it and we say it in the movement, they're pimping the movement. They're trying to get what they can get and be a part, and they're trying to eat off this plate. And this is not for everybody. Reparations in America specifically is for those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery, those of us who can trace our lineage back to slavery in this country. There are other reparations initiatives. CARICOM is for the Caribbean. They have their own initiative to fight their colonizer for reparations. So when we're talking about reparations, don't allow, and this is where white people honestly have been masterful at taking us down a rabbit hole and trying to point the finger at somebody else other than the damage that's been done here in this country. So again, always stay, when you're talking about this, stick and stay right now. Not that we don't have a bigger fight ahead of us, but this first fight we got to get, and this sets the tone. This will be the model for the rest of the globe. If we can get this right here in America, we have to be very intentional about who is owed reparations right here in these United States.
Now, how do you,
Good
because
good point.
absolutely.
Good point. Thank you so much. And most certainly, I like that. You're absolutely correct. We don't want to be diverted by them. I agree with you. I just point of reference, and you most certainly on point. And I like what you said. Descendants of slavery. Descendants of slavery. We could trace who are, and you know that most of our people migrated from the South and had went north. So a lot of those from Alabama had wound up going to North Carolina. From North Carolina, they went to Mississippi. From Mississippi, they traveled, and many of them landed, quite a few landed in Chicago. So you're right. Those who are descendants of slaves. I like that. No, I like what you said, and most certainly that language has to be, don't give them no reason to divert their responsibility. I just brought it up. Thank you for the correction. Appreciate that.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And one of the things that you said in what you just said, you were saying that not everybody is old. So
not all Black people, because that's where white people, they argue with, trust me, they fight us on this all day, all the time, because they're like, they thinking it, they gotta pay all Black people in America. No. You're only those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. And now that we're on the other side of this affirmative, this country no longer having.
So how does one determine?
We're not a lost people. You got to remember, chattel. We were property. We were their property. White people kept some darn good records. They knew whatever they knew. They passed down shares and Negroes. So they kept darn good records. So we are not a lost people. So in our plight right now with reparations and where we are with affirmative action, lineage base is where policy is. We'll have to push policy. Like now, who's going to be able to? We can't use race no more, which is honestly a lot of us in the movement. We're like glad affirmative action benefited white women and the LGBTQIA community. It benefited others, and it didn't. It was initially to benefit us, but started benefiting other people, and it didn't benefit us. So now that we're beyond race-based policies, now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Who do you really owe America? Who should you really be supporting? And that's us, those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. We are the real Americans.
Okay. So am I hearing you say, and certainly please correct me, but am I hearing you say that we have to trust their records as to determining who gets and who does not?
No. But they kept great records. Not necessarily trust their records, just the fact that we're able to trace our lineage back. They, when somebody died, they willed off the chair and the Negroes. So we're not a lost people. They knew who their slaves were, maybe not by name. We may have a hard time, but this is where we tell our own stories, right? My grandmother, we have her Bible, like that was her birth certificate, right?
Yes.
So we tell our own stories. So not only along with us telling our own stories, let's go get their stories, because we're a part of their story too.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you something. I love asking questions, and that's why they call me.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
but my thing, and I want to go to Toya with a T, because she's been holding on for a minute or two, so I definitely want to hear her heart as to what her question is too. But my thing is this: that could very well be. Could that be? Let me say it in that way. Could that be another room for divide, trying to determine who gets and who don't get it? And I'm sure you've educated yourself on this. I'm sure the organization has educated themselves. But how do you determine though? I'm still trying to put my hand on. How do you determine?
So when you say divide, stay with me because I want to understand your question and where you're going. When you say divide, you mean dividing Black people? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
This is where all skin folks ain't kin folks, brother. Let me say that again. All skin folks ain't kin folks.
Come on.
Now, if we're gonna be real about this, we gotta start thinking about ourselves, right? Just because your skin is brown and black like mine, don't mean you have the same lived experience. Again, let's go back to the trauma that lives in my DNA, that lives in your DNA. This trauma is real. Those that came over from our brothers and sisters from other countries, in the diaspora, they don't have this same lived experience. They don't have this same lived trauma. They don't know. They understand how white America treats them because of the color of their skin. But then we have a deeper level of trauma, and that they don't get. They don't have this in them. So this is where we have to lean, and this is where we fight other Black people, because we fight in our families. We gotta fight each other, because this is where other Black people have to, that are not descendants of chattel slavery. You are here off the backs and the sacrifices and the blood, sweat, and tears of my ancestors. That is how you got here. So how dare you come here and not support us in this fight? How dare you come here and and slap us in the face and say, well, you siding with the white man. That makes you a gatekeeper. Whose side are you really on? Again, all skin folks ain't kin folks. Either you come here and you recognize how you got here, because if it wasn't for my ancestors, you wouldn't be here, and you support us in this fight. And that's the demand we have to put on our brothers and sisters that don't have this same lived trauma. You see how passionate I am?
Yes.
That thing is in my DNA. I wake up with this. I go to bed with this. I wake up with this. And those of us in the movement who fight, this is who we are. And we make sure that people that look like us know you got here because of us. Now you need to get in line. That means in line behind. That don't mean you get in front of me. You don't get policy. And when we look at these policies that was race-based, they came over here and got stuff that should have been for us. This should have been for freedmen. Those affirmative action policies, that was for us. But we've allowed people that look like us, who say they African American, because you're from the continent of Africa and you're now here in America, you over here eating off our plate. It's disrespectful.
Wow. YouTube, TikTok said this. I want you to respond to that. Then we're gonna go to Toya with a T. Then we're gonna circle back around to everybody. White folks mix their blood with you. None of you are 100% African now. I don't know where they're going with that, but that's the comment that they made. Do you want to comment on that?
White folks mix their blood. I'm not sure where they're going or what that means. I don't know what to say to that. Look, we were, it wasn't like, back during slavery time, we didn't have no choice. White master raped us, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Master came and slept with us and raped us, and we got mixed children. But guess what? Most of us know my skin might be a little lighter than yours, but I'm Black like you. That same lived trauma is in my DNA. So I'm not sure where they were going with that question, brother. I don't know.
508-924-3521. Hold on for a second. 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. We're talking reparations today, and we're being graced with our sister. She's actually coming on. She's educating us on reparations, where we are. The great organization here is in the state of Georgia. Now, I'm sure that we broadcast in 63 countries, so I'm sure that there's reparations for each and every state that's here in the United States of America, and probably even the world. But my thing is, we're focusing right now on the state of Georgia because that's what she's representing. So if you have a question and or concern, give us a call, 508-924-3521. One more time for the person that did not have a pen, 508-924-3521. Toya with a T, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Get murdered. How you doing?
Hey, doing good.
The individual that made the comment that said about us being mixed, they don't know their primary colors. They don't know that you can't get. I'm gonna leave that alone.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna leave that alone. But no, she's right? Because I couldn't have been in the house. Couldn't have been in the house, Negro. Boss, they get ready to run. I'd be like, oh no, boss, they still out there. See, I'd have been putting bags of cotton out there, looking like humps and bumps in the front, and set the house on fire. That's me. But we already know that all, like she said, all skin folk ain't kin folk.
Yes.
I mean, you can take it back. We can take it back to even when they was going through the wilderness, when they just got free from Pharaoh. All that mumbling and grumbling they was doing, how they did the Lord. You understand what I'm saying? So we already know that people gonna not have gratitude, and it could be all the people after they get their reparations gonna still be mumbling and grumbling. Because the problem is not, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's restitution. I think the problem is us. We broke in. Come on, man. We built this world because we were beat. We built it. You mean to tell me we couldn't take it back? We didn't do it again. You know what I mean? Some people, I understand their reparations, but listen, I don't want no money from my uncle that raped me. I don't want a dime. Keep it. I make my own money. The dude that I went to jail with, that I beat because he beat me, I don't want no money from him either. Keep it. Give it a charity. I don't want it. I'll keep on going. I'm going to keep on being strong. And I promise you right now, I'm bigger, better, and stronger than any two of them two men. So some people's outlook on reparations, I can understand, but I would like to change it to the European word, restitution. Y'all know what restitution is, America? Y'all just want to cause division and call it reparations to put a cut on it. But now y'all lost one. Restitution. When someone has lost something due to a crime that you have committed, and when you are entitled by law to pay them back.
Good deal.
It's called restitution.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Ryan, I think you had a question. Ryan, you there?
Can I speak on? I'm on the one here that's been Georgia all his life, most of his life, and know about history.
Yeah, we gonna come to you, brother. We got you up next. Ryan, you have a question? Okay, Ryan may have stepped away. Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to congratulate the lady because the only thing I heard out of this was that who deserves reparations, and that was the great lineage. And Georgia is very simple. You can go to the as far as Georgia, you want to find out who was relative to slavery. You can go to the 1870 military census of each county in the state of Georgia. I did this, and I actually went down to Twiggs County Courthouse. Prior to 1900, they did not have information back because they had the courthouse burned down. Like a lot of courthouses, they burnt down the record. But I could trace my lineage on my mother's side back to the 1700s, and I found that we have property down there. We had property as late as 1919. Well, I'm saying it's easy, but the thing I don't understand is that we both concerned about what the white people are saying and thinking, the arguments they have, and we haven't even addressed the people that come from those eras, that people that know about themselves and what they actually want. I heard some misnomers about the church. The black church was never involved in the civil rights movement in the 60s or the 70s. This is something new. This is a new thing that people claim today, and they're still not involved in the movement. They take an anti-stance. It's as late as the 80s, right, in the 90s. If you just follow the trend. And but the people that were here, they survived either. You can look at, I hear a lot of people talking about things, but look about history. That was W. Du Bois, black reparations, where most black people own farms in North Georgia, millions of acres of land. And when I was coming, I hear a lot of people talking about North, but most black people still live down south as late as the 70s and the 80s before they migrated to the north and to the west, right? And on and on. And then when you start talking about Georgia, Florida, Alabama, then you have to include the Spanish. Now, I didn't understand. I know I was talking to Leonard one time. He mentioned something about 246 years ago. I didn't understand that because we were talking about another person. Book, I think it was Marcus Garvey. I didn't understand. They're talking about when America became America. My people up in and not in Twitch County, but up in Oconee County, my daddy's side of the family, they were actually, I can trace my family genetically and purposely back to 1740.
Brother,
And I can probably go back further than that, but I don't know how many records kept on land records.
Ibrahim,
So I think
Ibrahim,
we have assumptions.
Ibrahim, do you have a guess for the young lady, man? We want to concentrate on the young lady. Do you have a question for her?
Yeah, the question is, what I was saying is, why don't we investigate and see what Black people want? You know, because I hear a lot of opinions all the time about y'all talking about Georgia and everything, and I'm here, and y'all ignore me and making all these lustrous comments about Uncle Thomas and everything. But why not talk to the actual people that relatives, or identify the relatives, so that you can do the work, do the homework, identify the relatives. You know, identify people that've been here and they family in. They here. The white people used them in 1990 take land all around North Georgia and Mississippi.
Okay.
You know, and we here. We easily trade. You
Good
go
deal.
to Cohouse, any Cohouse.
Good deal. Ibrahim, okay, brother. We got to keep
why
it
don't
moving,
we
brother.
talk to Black
Ibrahim,
people?
Ibrahim.
Right.
We got to keep it moving, sir.
I'm there,
We got to
man.
keep.
I'm there.
Okay, good deal.
Go ahead.
Young lady,
bro.
you have a question? You have a comment on what he said?
I was trying to follow him. I'm not quite sure. Can you maybe he can restate that, because I wasn't quite sure where the question was and what the question was.
Quick version of your question, Ibrahim.
Why not we not interested in what Black people think and about Black people, or do the homework, finding, covering the people that may deserve reparations?
Yes. So let me try to answer you there. Let me, if you don't mind, let me just try to answer you there. That's what the commission is all about. This commission is designed to study the impact of slavery and Jim Crow on those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery. This is where we're going to figure out what we need, what we're owed. So this is why this commission and this study and making sure this House bill is passed in the next upcoming session. Georgia has a 2-year legislative cycle. This bill was reintroduced. Actually, it was HB 541 in the prior session. This session is House Bill 89. So this is the second time this bill has been introduced, but we have 2024, this upcoming legislative session, to get this bill passed. So we're working very diligently to make sure this bill gets passed so we can know what we're actually owed. It's not necessarily what we want, it's what we're owed.
Yes.
And I think, and that is the purpose of the commission, sir.
Absolutely. Leonard, talk to me, brother. What's on your heart? Got a question?
Well, to be quick, like I said, I'm familiar with Ms. Sheila, and I would love it if she could share with us who has been appointed to that council. Is there somewhere online we can go to find out that information? And am I to understand that you all are to publish a report in June 2024?
So that date has to be is going to be 25. They need to. The bill has some amendments that need to be made. But we're going to add the word chattel, because out in California that was a big hang up, because they weren't specific. They fought lineage-based reparations in California. So we're going to make sure we don't have that fight here in Georgia. So we're adding the word chattel to the bill, and we're that date should be 2025, not 2024. So those are the actual corrections. So thank you for taking a look at the House bill. This House bill has co-sponsors. It was introduced by Representative Roger Bruce. He's in the 61st district, but it has 4 other co-sponsors already. Our goal, and if you please go to the website, I'll try to keep saying it so you'll know, it's reparationssunday.info or either .com, Reparations Sunday. Go to the website, get on our email list, and be a part of our efforts here in Georgia. Our goal right now, between now and when session starts in January, is to be organized, because we're going to have to be at that Capitol demanding that this bill get a hearing, get on the floor for a vote. We need to get it over in the Senate. But there's a lot of work. But now, while they're not in session, this is where, y'all know Georgia is a red state. Our House, our state Senate, our governor, it's a trifecta. We got a red state. We got to be very strategic in our push to make sure that this bill is passed. Step one, we must demand that every Black legislator, let me say this, and I get a little, it kind of triggers me because Georgia has the largest legislative Black caucus in the nation. Let me say that again. We have the largest number of Black caucus members here in our legislature in the entire nation.
Wow.
And
yeah,
that's power, even though we don't have the majority in the House and the Senate, this is a red state. We don't have enough legislators, but the fact that we have the largest in the nation, that is power, like you just said. They're not wielding their power. And this is where I get very upset with them, because as the largest legislative Black caucus in the nation, this bill, they should band together and they should say, we're gonna hold the line. Because the only thing that the legislature has to do every session is pass the budget. Yeah. But they could really band together and say, you know what? We're not passing anything else other than this budget. Then, you know, y'all can't get nothing. If y'all need something from us, y'all can't get it. Like, they need to come together and wield their power. Particularly, this is hands down, reparations is a bill, whether it's here in Georgia or in the federal government, hands down, this kind of legislation will change the state and fate of Black America. It is the only bill that could address us holistically. And that's what we need. Stop piecemealing our repair. Stop trying to give us a little bit of this, give us a little bit of that. That has not worked for us yet. So having this comprehensive legislation that says, let's address these people holistically, that's power. So House Bill 89 again has the original sponsor and co-sponsors, but our demand and what we're doing in our organizing efforts is we meet every second and fourth Tuesday on a Zoom, and our goal is to push every Black legislator, step one, every Black legislator to pass this legislation. Step two, we got to go have a talk with white people. So here's how we talk to white people. Let's go there. How we talk to white people: stay away from your emotions. Get out of your emotions. When I talk to them, white people, Republicans, they talk dollars and cents. Stay out of your emotions. I don't debate history with them because you know they love the Civil War, the Confederate stories. That's who they are. They still waving the Confederate flag here in many parts of Georgia. Stay away from the history, because they will again take you down that rabbit hole and try to point the finger at the fact that your own people sold you into slavery. Stay away from that. So let's talk dollars and cents. Let's talk about how, you know, it will stimulate the economy. We get money. What y'all think we're gonna do with it? We're gonna prayerfully we learn to spend it with each other, and that dollar can turn over and over in our own community, like it does in the Asian community, Latino community. They spend money and they support each other. Prayerfully, we see that and we do that. But guess what? A lot of us gonna have to spend our money with white America. It's gonna stimulate the economy. Yes. We could talk about how it could lower their tax burden. You know, they always talk about taxes. Let them be creative on how this could help with their tax burden. Put the ball in their court. We can also talk about how we could either eliminate or reallocate monies from dead end social programs, because there's a lot of social programs that don't work for us. Let me give you a prime example. There was a girl on Instagram who had gotten $1 more raise on her job, but would not take the job, would not take this raise on her job because she knew that it would affect her housing. So she couldn't take more money and do better because she knew that it would affect her housing, her voucher for her housing. So this is how a lot of these social programs that we've been fed are detrimental to us, and these monies could be reallocated, or we could eliminate some of these social programs, cut the check. We are the most frugal people. We know what to do with our money. Black people make $1 out of 15 cents. Give me my damn money. Let me do what I need to do and take care of myself. Another thing that we talk about with Republicans and white people is immigration. You know, there's some talk around with immigration and reparations that we've been massaging and trying to work through our talking points even with that. So again, try to stay away when you talk to white people and you talk about reparations to Republicans. Get out of your emotions. They have they feel nothing. They feel nothing about what happened to us, many of them. So don't try to argue from a place of emotions. Argue from a place of, again, economics make it make dollars and cents to them.
Mhm. And I'm gonna say this: crumbs off the table is not a meal.
It sure ain't.
It's not
I'm
a meal.
still hungry.
Exactly. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Cassandra, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just grateful for everything that this young woman has shared with us, because it helps us to know where we need to focus.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, there's so much happening, and if we just stand by on the side, and Leonard says it all the time, our vote is going to be our victory.
Mm-hmm.
If we do not go after and make people accountable for doing the things that we need done in our communities, they will not get done.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud this group. I applaud this movement, and we all need to get on board.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter where you live. We all need to get on board.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me speak to her comment. Thank you for that. We absolutely appreciate it. We all have to do this together. But here's where this movement is with how we're moving politically with our vote. You can't have this for free no more. We're not going to the polls and showing up and voting blue no matter who, because historically that's what we do. We look for the D. We look for the, we're following a party. That's not how we moving forward. That's not strategic. We got to go to the polls demanding specific policy for us. If they don't have a platform that addresses us as a people, that if it doesn't address our needs, you cannot have my vote.
Yes.
And it's not about, choosing one party over the other. It's policy. So we're not going to the polls, showing up, voting blue, no matter who want this? Because that's who we voting for. Who's going to ride for us politically? Because that's who we voting for.
Now, how do you keep
and not the idea, specific policy specifically for us?
Once we vote and the vote is cast and they're in office, how do you hold their feet to the fire to make sure that they do exactly what they said they was going to do?
Brother, look, you really trying to get me in trouble today. Well, let me reintroduce myself a bit further. It was something I wasn't going to share, but let me share. Those of you that know my name or may Google me, I actually ran for office. I didn't run for office not one time, not two times, not three times, not four times. I ran for office 5 times consecutively. Mm-hmm. I ran for the Georgia State Senate. I'm coming to your question, brother, but I want to reintroduce myself.
Absolutely.
Give you a bit more context to the answer that I'm going to give you. So I ran for the Georgia State Senate 40, which is North DeKalb, the Atlanta metro area. Back in 2014, ran the first time, 2014, came out of the gate, no-name candidate, ran against a staunch Republican. When I say staunch, Senator Fran Miller, Republican, owned that district. Even Republicans couldn't get more than 20-some-odd% against him. I ran against him the first time. I got 37% out the gate. Came back and ran against him in 2016, got 43.8%. Everybody knew that third race, I was about to take this man. I was about to take this seat. But the Democratic Party here in this great state of Georgia primaried me with a white woman. The party did this. Party operatives inside of the party. This is what they did, because she looked like the district, and they quote unquote said she was more electable. Now, after I had done the work for 3 election cycles, they decided that they were going to select their candidate for us.
Wow.
So that's came back in 2020. And if y'all remember, Kelly Loeffler was appointed by the governor. That race for the United States Senate, I ran. It was 21 candidates in that race. I came in 6th place out of 21 candidates. The top 5 had millions of influence. Kelly Loeffler, Raphael Warnock, Deborah Jackson, Matt Lieberman, Doug Collins. top 5 millions and or influence. I came in number 6 under the top 5 out of 21 candidates. Coined me the first place grassroots candidate. Ran with a platform of reparations. That's all I talked about. Over 100,000 votes across the state. No name statewide, but was able to garner that much support because I had a strong stance for us. I came back in 2022 and I primaried the Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock. And I primaried him for us. I primaried him because he did not push a Black agenda. He did not speak to us specifically. He did not speak to reparations. Of course, you know, he's back in the United States. He's in the United States Senate. But Senator Warnock did not have, and I'm coming to your question, brother, I'm not lost. Senator Warnock did not sign on to S-40 when he got into the United States Senate. He did not. He did not. So going to your question of how his best legislation, I'm coming to your question now, but his best legislation was a statue of Shirley Chisholm. That was his best legislation. Not putting his name on reparations or not doing anything that could move the needle. His best legislation was a statue of Shirley Chisholm. So going back to your question, how you hold people accountable, you call them out. You keep pushing, you keep pressing. All we got is each other as Black people in this country. All we got is each other. And all, again, going back to something I said earlier, all skin folks ain't kin folks. All skin folks ain't kin folks.
That's good.
So we have to hold our feet to the fire. We can't be beholden, and we get excited as Black people because they Black like me. Somebody running, that's Black, that's Black. I'm sorry, but where has that gotten us thus far? It's not about, you know, having a shiny object or having somebody we could say we proud of. Where is this person on policy? It's all about policy. So we've been going to the polls and we've been being pimped at the polls.
Wow.
We have undergirded this Democratic Party with our vote. We've given it away for free for far too long. And look at where we are. Look at where we are right now today.
Is Tim Scott Black? Okay. 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 All right. Let's keep this thing going. Kurt, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Willow, coming to you next. Kurt, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, I'm right here, right here. Let me first say thank you, sister, for doing all the work that you're doing. Whatever I can do to support you, you definitely have my support. What knowledge I have in my head, you can have it. And whatever passions I have in my spirit, I'm more than willing to give it to you. So why did I just say what I said? Because see, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit on this phone and allow for one of our brothers to try and dismantle or put down this sister. And I heard that. It ain't right. And it's coming from the pits of hell. Yeah, I said it. It ain't right. And it's coming from places that do not have God tied nowhere to it. I heard it. Now that sister is trying to do something upright and just for her people.
Hey, Kurt,
Ever that.
Let's do this right here, brother. If we're gonna put it out there like that, and that's very strong how you did that, and that's appreciated. But what specifically are you speaking of? If we're gonna do it strongly, let's do it strongly.
Listen. First off, I just heard somebody turn into a victim talking about somebody was calling them Uncle Tom. Being called the Uncle Tom is a badge of honor if you read the book. Let's get some things straight here. Nobody called you anything derogatory. Nobody spoke anything derogatory against you. Everybody has respected the fact that you have a working set of skills and knowledge that we don't have. And to attempt to diminish the skill sets and the knowledge that we all collectively have and bring to the table is foul. Where I'm from, it's called being foul. You carrying it the wrong way. That's what we say. Here in Baltimore, you carrying it the wrong way. And to ask this lady, well, why you ain't did this and why you ain't did that and why you ain't did this and why you ain't did that. And then to mention that churches wasn't a part of the civil rights movement, man, please, please. The Treacherous Six were all preachers. Please. If the churches wasn't involved, why did they blow up that church in Alabama? Please explain that to me. Please explain that to me, man. It's certain things about this movement that has to happen. And in order for the movement to happen, you get, the sister is right. You gotta get the churches out of the pulpit and into the streets. Let me put it like this right here. I'm gonna land this plane right here, bro. I don't have too much more to say after this. Every single movement in the history of the world, every single revolution, every single massive change that has happened, if you pay attention to history, every single change that has happened has come either from or through the church. Even when it was changing of religious sanction, when it was changing from Catholicism to Lutheranism, it came through and from the church. Luther was a pastor.
Good deal. Good deal.
Right. Came through and from the church. Nat Turner, through and from the church. The Underground Railroad, through and from the church.
Good deal. Stay right there, Kirk. Stay right there. We gotta keep it more. I feel you. I feel you, brother. I feel you. Stay right there. Though. We only got a few more minutes, brother. I wanna. It's a lot of things I want to cover, and I know she has a lot of things she want to say in her closing. So we definitely got to go to her and let her do her closing. And I can't wait to hear her closing. I can't wait to hear. I know she got some. But let me go to Willow. Good morning, young lady. How you doing? How you doing this morning?
I am doing fine, Raheem. Good morning and good morning, Morning Glow.
Hey, good.
Yeah, I've been listening for a while now, and I just want to encourage that young lady. I mean, she is so intelligent and passionate about what she chose to do. See, we need more people like her. You could tell, and I could tell in her spirit, she's a fighter. And you know one thing what I like about her fighting though?
What's that?
She don't ghetto with it. She's very intelligent with it. She deals with them. I feel that she could be the highest and still be intelligent. Because you know, sometimes when we get passionate about something, we start to get really ghetto about it. But her, I believe she could sit down and reach the heart of somebody and they don't know where to act or how to act. See, it's easy to get down low to a person that's not intelligent. That's easy. But when you get to a place where you can deal with the highest intelligence, that's power. That's power. And that's why probably the support had fallen from her. Because somebody might have thought, she coming for my job next. So all I'm saying is you are a very intelligent young lady. You keep moving towards your movement because that's what we need. We need more doers than talkers. We got a lot of talkers, but we don't have a lot of doers. So you stay passionate in what you have chosen, decided to do in this world. That's why I want to encourage you. You chose to do and fight that part. Stay encouraged. Don't let nobody discourage you because, like Leonard say, there are people that's gonna come, do their little thing, say their little. So what? If you don't pick it up, don't be a Q-tip. Keep your skin thick. Keep it thick. Don't be a Q-tip. Q-tips mean quit taking it personal, and you don't take it personal. You're fighting for people that have bent their backs and died for what they're doing right now. So thank you. I live in Illinois. I'm not in Georgia, but we need that kind of passion right here in Illinois. And that's what I wanted to say right here.
Now, Willa, I got to say this to you now, Willa. You know, I love you, my sister. I love you dearly, but I'm gonna tell you something now. You ain't gonna come here and recruit our people now. We want that. Come on, we need something like that in Chicago. Well, look here, you better recruit somebody because we got her here. She in Georgia. Trying to come on here and recruit.
Turn that state blue and I'll be with you.
Oh, okay. I'll just check and see what you're trying to do. I got to, I listen to every word now. Hey, Stanley, what's on your heart, brother?
Yes, sir. Well, Willa, in your response, I want Mara to know that when she met Raheem and myself yesterday at New Black Wall Street Market in Stonecrest, she did meet two doers.
Yes, yes.
So we're not just talkers. We walk the walk that we talk. So whatever I can do,
likewise,
as I stated before, to further your cause, we're behind you. And I'm going to ensure that some of these events that I have throughout the state of Georgia, whether it be by Zoom or whether it be in person, I'm going to ensure that you make some of these events and meet the right people so we can kind of help you push your agenda forward.
Absolutely.
And like I said, once again, it was a pleasure meeting you yesterday. I look forward to seeing you again, and call me anytime if I can do anything for you.
Yep, absolutely.
And Willa, you sound like you're in Georgia. I thought you was in Georgia, but if you're trying to recruit our Georgians to come to Illinois, we would not allow that.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother?
Hey, I was just listening to a lot of stuff, and some of it tickles me. But anyway, when sometimes it seems like you don't have to worry about pouring salt on the wound. You got your own folks doing it.
Wow.
But I heard a TikTok comment and that it was at the early part of the show, and thank you, sister, for what you're doing. They said, where they gonna get the land from? In every state. What would you say about that? When every state you go to, there's acres and acres of land that nobody's on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how would you address that question? Where they gonna get the land from?
Young lady?
Yeah, Georgia. I mean, you just go down, just pick a highway, just pick one. Get outside of Metro Atlanta. The running joke, Atlanta is not Georgia, because it's not. When you start driving, I'm native Georgian. I'm from South Georgia, Effingham, Chatham County. And that's all we got is land. I mean, acres and, like you just said, acres and acres of land that nothing is on. We're plentiful. Land is plentiful.
Exactly. Ryan, you had a question?
More of a comment. Hopefully my microphone working now.
Yes, we hear you.
So as a white person, I applaud what you had said a few minutes ago. You are absolutely right to talk dollars and cents and not do the emotional part of things. See, I grew up on both sides of the fence. These guys know me pretty well. I have a biracial family. So I get into these talks and they touch my soul. But the platforms, like you were saying, just voting Democrat, it's not working. It's never been working. It showed proof is in the pudding here in Detroit. That's where I'm at. We've been run by Democrats for so long and don't nothing ever work here. It still look the same. And so that's not saying go vote for Republicans. That's not what I'm saying. But like you said, voting for policy is the biggest thing that you could do. You have no idea how many times during a voting cycle I will ask some of my family members or my friends, well, why did you vote for this person? What do they stand for? What's their policy? And they have no idea. I just voted Democrat because that's what blacks supposed to do. No, that's not how it works. You're not going to get anything accomplished just doing that, right? So on the other side of the coin, like Toussaint said, where are you going to get the land from? Every state has hundreds and thousands of acres of federal land. They're just sitting there doing nothing. The only thing you do out there is go hunting. So we got land all over the place. You ever been to Nebraska or Oklahoma? Ain't nothing but wide open spaces. So I applaud what you're doing. You know, for what it's worth, I got your back. If you ever come to the D, Raheem can get a hold of me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know, make sure you're taken care of. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely. Since you just adopted, we just adopted you, we adopted each other. You got a family here at DKM, so know that we're here. Whatever we can do to
I
help,
appreciate it.
know that we
Yeah,
are here. Brother
Now,
Pete.
this is our fight. It's our fight, and this is the collective work. We have to do this together. I can't do this alone. And we as activists that are leading the charge, we cannot do this alone. We need armies. We need armies all across the state of Georgia. We need armies all across the nation. There's some strong advocates in the Detroit area. Oh my gosh. They don't play with when it comes to what's happening up in that Illinois area. So yeah, we're mighty, but it takes all of us to do this together. I cannot do this alone. And that's why I was so grateful when you asked me to be a guest on your broadcast today, because I know that, you know, every time I get an opportunity to speak or be seen, to be heard, I'm taking it. I'm moving and going everywhere I need to go. And I want to say something to the sister earlier. I think Wilma was her name?
Willa.
I want to say thank you for your comments and you know, just I felt the love and the support. So I just want to say thank you for that. But I want to tell you something. I did not choose this. Let me tell you something. I actually had to write a book about this because I knew nobody wouldn't really understand that I did not choose to do this. I owned a salon. I did nails for almost 20 years. I love my clients. You know, I had my world, but when God calls you, I didn't have a choice to not do this. He made it clear. He took everything from me and made me follow and do this. So I actually wrote a book. It's called Faith, Purpose, and Politics, Running the Race of My Life. And this journey has been a calling on me on my entire life. My entire life is centered around this reparations and this reparations movement. And but God.
Absolutely.
But God.
Hey, Rodney.
Hold on 1 second. Let me go to Brother Pete, because he been holding on for quite a while. Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
How y'all doing, DKM Radio, panel, family, listening audience, social media, the wonderful guests? How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good, brother. The ball is in your court, brother. I know you got a question and or a comment. This young lady, she's not.
I came in the middle trying to draw. It sound like our dear sister is on the move for reparations and specifically focus on land.
Well, I don't know if it's specifically focused on land, but she's certainly reparations. Sister, you want to address that?
Yeah, well, everything, brother. No, we focus on everything and anything and everything, not just one thing.
Excellent. Because when we had a conversation talking about reparations in North America, and specifically focusing
Hey, Peter, are you talking directly to your phone, brother? It's just a little bit low.
I am a little bit low. And when you're talking about, you know, the melanated folk, African American, Negro, Black, Colored, Aboriginal, Indigenous, Papatone, Native, Turtle Island folk, the repair for the damage that has been done is extensive, and it can seem exhaustive because there is no area where damage has not occurred or been received. There's no area. There's no conceivable area. We've talked about this before. When you strip a people of the knowledge of themselves and their culture, and their traditions, right, and you strip them of their language, and now you have them in a situation where you can't even give it back to them. You don't even know what language it was. You don't even know where many came from. You don't even know what their cultural traditions were. So the root system that exists in us as beings that connects us to our forefathers, the Holy Book say, honor thy father and mother. Well, I don't even know who they are. I'm going to honor them because you stripped me at that. Okay, this is a serious thing. And it's past time now for repairing the system of subjugation, racism, right? Separatists, divisiveness in this nation has gone too far for too long. Now we're seeing the fruits of the destruction in function. It is time for repair. The masses of the folk here are decent folk, across the board, all of them. I believe that these people are the type of folk that would give you their shirt off the back. They're decent people. But doing what
I think we might have lost Pete there for you're skipping in and out. You're skipping in and out a little bit there, brother. I don't know if you probably.
Yeah, I'm up on top of a hill and I have to come down. So
why you talking like that though, man? Why you talking like that though? I'm up on
is doing
I got you.
to make sure that you can hear me on the hill.
I
So,
appreciate that, brother. I really do.
It's a very it's a very serious conversation.
Yes.
And subject matter.
Absolutely.
And it's time now. It's time to correct the wrongs.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, that book have a scripture that says righteousness exalteth the nation. In the end of that scripture, it says sin is a reproach to any people.
Mm-hmm.
If America as a republic and as a corporation doesn't get itself together, we are looking at the foundation of the destruction of this whole experience right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at it right now. It cannot go on anymore. You must face the truth. You must face the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And you must do what's right. You must do what's right. You
Absolutely.
have damaged these people beyond repair in every imaginable way. It's not just about money. That's just one grain of sand on the beach. Money, the financial. What about the mental health? What about the literal health? What about the education?
Mm-hmm.
What about the restoration in the development of each and every one of them in themselves?
Good deal. Good
the
deal.
Value,
Preacher.
the purpose, the humanity.
Preacher. We gotta go, preacher. Give a preacher a microphone, boy. Give a preacher a microphone, boy. You gonna look at here. You gotta wake up the amen corner over there. Gotta wake up the amen corner. Hey, Leonard, I appreciate you, brother Pete. Leonard, you wanted to say something? What that you that wanted to say something?
Well, I think somebody else, but I am reserving myself today, but because we have a guest.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And,
well, hey, look here, Leonard, you around family, brother. We know how you can get sometime. We know. We already know.
Well, in all honesty, I thank our guests for being here, explaining this to people, because it's good for people to have the information and for people to understand there is no one framework for Black redress.
Mm-hmm.
So there are various organizations and things of that nature, non-governmental organizations, by the way, that are working on issues as it relates to Black redress in the form of reparations. Whatever people is feeling about it and things like that is a discussion for another day. However, don't ever exclude people who are suffering, not mentally and all these things and creating their romances. But we really have issues here in America that we can solve. We can solve many of these issues, but we can't do that by insisting that some of us suffer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And when I say that, I mean that there is a right way and there is a wrong way. What is right for one person may not always be right for the other person, but it's going to be good for us to come together, and hopefully these efforts that Ms. Shealy's have made are more comprehensive and what actually has to be done in form of this type of reparation for our people.
Absolutely.
This is not a one and done type deal. And it never will be. This needs to be ingrained in the consciousness of this republic. Because this is the foundation of this republic.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, anybody else have anything they want to say before we go to her for her closing, and then we're gonna do our outing? Anybody else have anything they want to say before we get out of here?
Hey, right here, could you do me a favor, please, 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 please?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Make sure the sister gets my my information. Because I have that TV channel now, and if she wants some airtime, it would be given to her for free.
Yeah. There you go.
Maybe reparations need to start with us giving to each other for free.
There you go.
Yeah, make sure she gets my information, man. And I think that's it. I had something else on my mind, a one sentence thing, but I can't remember what it is. So that might be God telling me to shut up.
Good
But
deal.
make sure she get my info. I'd be more than happy to
I'll
program it
Mm-hmm.
if she want a month, 2 months, 6 months. The easiest way to get it out there is to put it on TV.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. And I'll make sure that happens soon as we close here. I'll make sure I send the information over to her, and we'll make sure that it happens. Anybody else have anything they want to say before we get out of here?
Yes, Raheem, I would like, if I could, please.
Yes.
I would like to say to our sister, when I heard her talk, and I like what Willa said, I'm listening not only to her passion, but I'm listening to the mission that I sincerely believe God put on her heart.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you, my sister, Harriet Tubman. I hear that in you.
Wow.
She did not stop. We know the great quote of Harriet Tubman. She said she would have freed thousands more Black people, only if they knew they were slaves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she did not want that job, but God gave it to her, and we thank God for Harriet Tubman. I hear in you, sister, my esteemed eternal leader, Elijah Muhammad. I hear that in you. Where he wrote, and we had since 1934 on the back of our paper, the Muhammad Speaks, with the Muslim wants. He said at point number 4, this is you.
Mm-hmm.
We want our people in America whose parents or grandparents who were descended from slaves to be allowed to establish a separate state or territory of their own, either on this continent or elsewhere. We believe that our former slave masters, who are obligated to provide such land that the area must be fertile and materially rich, we believe that our former slave masters are obligated to maintain and supply our needs in this separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years until we are able to produce and supply our own needs.
Mm-hmm.
This has been on our paper since 1934. It is on it to this day. Now here we are listening to our sister who has that spirit. People used to laugh and make mockery and said, oh man, these people are not going to give us that.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard Curtis talk about the coroner's report. We already separated. And we have to learn, as I love what you're doing, sister, don't let nobody discourage you.
Mm-hmm.
This was a mission that God put on you.
Yes.
And you are in the right time, the right moment, and God is going to give you success because your victory is our victory. And our victory is the victory of all of our forefathers who died under the shadow slavery. That soundly, generations have gone, that we may see some resemblance of restitution and reparation. We no longer ask for 40 acres in a mule. We want 40 acres in a John Deere. Keep doing what you're doing, sister.
Good deal.
We love you. And I want to get you on our podcast. We have a podcast in Atlanta by Brother Joshua, and he has a strong young audience. It would be awesome to have you on that podcast so young people can get the vibe of what's going on. So I'm hoping that we would do that. Thank you for this opportunity. May God's Spirit continue to be on you, my sister. That's what's on my heart right now.
Good deal. Good deal. Anybody else have anything they want to say quickly now? You know, y'all taking this thing. It's already after 10 now. Y'all know I got to go. But anybody else have anything they want to say before we get out of here? All right, good deal. Sis, if people wanted to support you financially, because, you know, it takes money sometimes to do what needs to, do you have a PayPal, Cash App, or a way that they can actually support you financially?
Yes, please. Reparations Sunday. Everything's on the website. Reparationssunday.com, reparationssunday.info. This is a whole lot of heavy lifting, a lot of moving around, a lot of things that needs to happen, a lot of irons in the fire all at the same time. We're being pulled across the state. Again, we got to focus on getting these Black legislators on one accord. And then we got to go and we got to have these hard conversations strategically around economics with these white Republicans and those that actually do run this state. So there's a lot of moving and shaking. So please go to the website reparationssunday.com or reparationssunday.info. It all leads back to Reparations Sunday. Support, be a part of this movement, get on our email list, give what you can as often as you can. We have now, between now and the end of session, to get this bill passed. We are, let me just make this big announcement as well. We are working on a rally we have scheduled for February the 6th at the Georgia Capitol. February the 6th at the Georgia Capitol. On the back side of the Capitol, there's Liberty Plaza. And Liberty Plaza is this big open area where we're able to have rallies and we can come together. We're going to have some powerful, powerful speakers from around the country that are coming here to Georgia February the 6th, right here to support House Bill 89, shine the brightest light we can on making sure this reparations bill is passed in this state. This is our time. Like, we are like living history. I get excited because I know this is, our generation, all of us that are here today, this is our civil rights movement. Like, we're going to be able to talk and tell the story of what we've done as a collective. So I'm excited. I'm encouraged. I want to thank y'all for all the love and the support. Again, this is our fight. This is our movement, and this is our time. So thank you.
Absolutely. Now, how do we do you today?
Say again, sir. I'm sorry.
How did we do? Did we do you good?
You did me great. Not just good. It was great.
Yeah. What would you like to say? Again, I know you just said that, but is anything else you want to say? Any contact information you want to give people in your closing? What would you like to say in your closing?
Yeah, follow me on all social media platforms. Tamara Shealy, Tamara Tamara Shealy, SHEALEY. Follow me. Be a part of the movement. Spread the word. House Bill 89. House Bill 89. Get on these Zooms with us. Help us to organize. Help us to hold these legislators' feet to the fire. They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. And as long as we keep allowing them to kind of sit on the sidelines, we're going to get what we got, which is nothing. So we have a lot of work to do. We're about that work. This generation of us, I always say we had to be born. I'm a baby of the 70s. I'm be 51 years old here this month. And, I feel like we had to be born. And there's this fire that is inside of us, and we're making it happen. But again, we cannot do this without love and support and everybody's all hands on deck. So thank you again. It was a pleasure meeting you. But God, ended up in the right place at the right time, and here it is.
Exactly. One day later, look at where we at.
Amen.
Look at where we at. Good deal. It's been a great. I want to thank you, sister, for taking the time to hang out with us, man. We definitely enjoyed it, and you definitely enlightened us in a lot of different things, and the information that you put forward. I hope people will take what you have given them and do something with it, and even contact. Let me put the site up here again. www.reparationssunday.com. Make sure you link out. I want the website to blow up. I want it to blow up. So everybody, whenever you get a chance from now until, and share that link with people. They need to know. They need to understand that we're serious about this. We're very serious about this. This ain't no playtime. This ain't no playtime. Been playing long enough. It's time to get serious. It's time to get serious. We're serious about this. She's very serious. We're very serious. Let's be serious together. Let's do this.
Yep.
It have to happen.
Yeah, this bill can this can really be this bill can pass, y'all. We have enough momentum, and this is like, I get really excited because I'm like, session begins in January. This bill can pass next year.
Yeah.
We can have our study commission. We can start really honing in to what Georgians, Black Georgians, those of us who are descendants, what we need. Like, this is our now. We're in our now.
Yes.
It's not getting ready. We are ready, and this is right now.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, let me go to Leonard. What's going on at 3:00 today, sir? Did we lose Leonard? Okay, we might have just lost. Let me go to Ryan. Ryan, what's going on at 3 o'clock today, sir?
If you missed today's show and wish to view it in its entirety, you can tune in to www.dkmradio.com at 3 o'clock.
Absolutely. And sis, it's an inside joke that we have here. We know the word is entirety, but we say entirety. We got a little inside joke that we do here. I don't want you to think that we don't know words. We know a couple. We know 3 or 4
Look,
words.
we have our own language. I know. I speak the language.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Willow.
Raheem.
I just want to know, are you ready, Willow?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's word.
Now,
come on, Raheem.
Now, are you sure you're ready?
Let's go.
Willow, are you sure you're ready?
Raheem, come on, Raheem. I'm ready. Let's go, Raheem.
Well, you know what, Willow? I ain't got one more thing to say. Since you said you're ready, I got one more thing to say. You know what I'm gonna say? Let's go.
Amen. Father God in heaven, we thank you. Thank you, Lord, for waking us up this morning, giving us another day we'll probably never see again. But Father, we thank you so much for allowing us to commune one to another. Father, thank you for this show, Lord. And Father, I'm asking you to touch that young lady right now in the name of Jesus, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to continually guide her, Lord. Continually give her the strength that she needs. Really give her the grace that she has through you, Lord, the power that you gave her, Lord. Father, thank you for her success, Lord. Father, we thank you for this show today, Lord. Father, we're praying and asking you, Lord, for those who are asking for strength, the things that they're going through, the things that's trying to keep them down. Father, I'm asking you to be there and stand on your word and your promise that you said it in your word. You'll never leave us nor forsake us. Thank you, Lord, for your word. You sent your word to heal us, Lord. You sent your word to be there when we need you in time of trouble, Lord. Father, there's a lot of trouble today. We need you in a mighty way. We're asking you, oh Lord, to continually guide us and give us the wisdom. Father, you said that if we want it, we need to just ask for it. And we ask him today, right now, in the name of Jesus, for the wisdom that we need to continually go on in this evil and wicked world. Thank you, oh Lord. Thank you, Lord, for your mercy. Thank you for your grace, Lord. Father, I'm asking you to touch each and every last one that's on this line, Lord. Father, let them know today that miracles still exist, Lord. Let them come back with a praise report, Lord, saying that they knew that it was only you that was able to allow it to happen. Thank you, Lord, in advance. Thank you for the morning glow. Thank you for Raheem and his family. Keep allowing that angel to be encamped around all of us. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Good deal. Good deal. Anybody have anything before we get out of here? Anybody got anything at all?
Great call this morning, man. Great call.
Hey, to God be the glory, brother. To God be the glory. And thank you. I appreciate that. We go ahead.
Yes, Tamara, give me a call. Tamara, give me a call after this, if you will.
Okay. Good deal. Good deal. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now, 10:19. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me 2 favors, if you will. 1, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number 2, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. Get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They would appreciate it, and I'm sure that you will appreciate it as well. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow morning if God says the same.